is our last album.
I believe so, sir.
Okay. So, I'm kind of bracing myself for your opinion on this band. The last album we're going to be talking about is Brave Faces Everyone by Spanish Love Songs, which is possibly one of the worst band names ever and doesn't give you any idea of what they sound like whatsoever.
No, it doesn't.
But they are a punk rock band from Los Angeles, California. If you want a rough idea of what they're like, then if you know bands like the Wonder Years or the Menzingers, then it'll give you a rough idea of the sort of thing that they do. I was first introduced to this band with their album Schmaltz, which came out in 2018, and that album had some really amazing and emotional songs like Sequels, Remakes and Adaptations, or The Boy Considers His Haircut. And that album probably had a more kind of pop-punk orientated sound to the music. The musicianship was quite fun despite having really depressing self-deprecating lyrics. Brave Faces Everyone is their third album, and to be honest, I wasn't fully into it the first time I heard it. So there was a bunch of singles came out before the album dropped, and I'd heard singles Losers, Losers 2, Kick and Beachfront Property, and I quite liked all of those tracks. And I think when I first put the album on, because I'd heard those songs more, the songs around them didn't quite have the same impact as the album might have had I not, because that's a lot of singles from an album to hear before the album comes out. So, but that said, the more kind of time I've spent with the album, the more and more I love it. The opener, Routine Pain, sort of sets the tone perfectly with sort of jangling guitars, and the lyric On Any Given Day I'm a 6 of 10. So from that you can kind of expect that the album's going to be quite bleak.
That's exactly how I've described it.
And it just kind of goes on from there on. It's, sad, it's negative, but some of the musicianship itself is quite bright and driving and uplifting, even when they're singing about depressing subjects. I would say that the music is fairly straightforward in its riffing and drumming, and it's really the vocals and the lyrics that will draw people in, and most of the choruses on here are fucking massive as well. I would say that frontman Dylan Slocum's warbling, quivering and straining vocals have the potential to put a lot of people off, as will the depressing sort of emo lyrics. Is that fair to say?
So I hadn't heard them before. I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest, when I heard them.
I didn't tell you anything about them either.
Yeah, Spanish Love Songs, something different anyway from what it turned out to be. Like I said, I heard that they described themselves as an LA based punk quintet. I still haven't pronounced it properly.
It's not a 5-person tent. It's a 5-person band.
Yeah, however, I read this after listening to the album, so I didn't really know what to expect. When I first started listening to the first song of the album, Routine Pain, is like you said, I felt as if it was almost like a kind of folk element. I don't know what it was.
It's quite stripped back.
Aye, I think that's maybe it. But yeah, it was obviously not a folk album, and that was kind of fairly short lived. And I've pretty much just described them as a pretty straight up emo rock band.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, I don't think the album's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think a lot of people will really enjoy this, and really lap it up.
They have got a really sort of die-hard following as well.
Yeah, I just kind of felt as if the songs were a bit samey, to be honest. There are bits though, and I'll go into kind of talk about them in our discussion about the album, that I did enjoy. Like, I'm not just discrediting it completely, but yeah, like I said, it just kind of felt as if the songs were a bit samey, and it kind of went on a bit, if I'm honest, and that's purely to do with the lyrical content. As we've said before, the lyrics are quite bleak. Throughout the course of the album, we kind of look into topics such as self-doubt, low mood, self-deprecation, poor mental health and addiction. One lyric that comes to mind is, I can't quite remember how it's worded, to be honest, but what's another 10 grand or something like that?
What's another 10 grand and a fix in the end? Something like that.
Yeah. What's another 10 grand going to fix in the end, or a fix?
I'm not sure if it's referring to spending that amount of money on a fix, as in drugs, or it's referring to just being in debt in general.
I'm
not
possibly
too sure.
I don't know. I can interpret it as maybe 10 grand paying for like some sort of recovery or rehabilitation program or something like that. But I'm not too sure either way. And I've written here, although like these topics and covering these topics and singing about them and making art about them is admirable, I just feel as if we've covered bands that have kind of just done it a wee bit better. The artist that immediately came to mind was Microwave and their 2019 album Death is a Warm Blanket.
Microwave have definitely got a lot more to offer sonically, I would say.
Yeah.
I think, as I said before, the musicianship on this is a bit more sort of straight ahead.
Yeah.
But as sort of punk rock songs go, they're pretty good. You won't hear anything that you haven't heard before. But I think despite that, the quality of the songs is still really high, particularly songs like Losers 2, which is easily the best song on the album. I think it's the choruses that really get me. I mean, the lyrics on the chorus for Losers 2 is, don't you know you were born to die, poor man? Don't you know that you're going to do yourself in, and you'll always wake up tired because there's nowhere we go from here. And the lyrics are great, the melody's great, and that's just a fantastic song through and through, and there's a lot of big choruses like that. And those are the main draws of this album for me. I think your criticism of it sounding a bit samey and potentially being a bit long is fair. It's only 40 minutes long, but I think that sort of bleakness maybe overstays its welcome a little. It could have done with maybe losing a song or two.
See, it's the lyrical content that I probably had the biggest problem with, to be honest. Not in its subject matter. I just felt as if some of it was a bit lazy. I genuinely felt as if like some of the songwriting was a bit lazy.
Okay.
For example, is it the first song? I think it is Routine Pain. The lead singer, who I think is writing from someone else's perspective. I want to say a female's perspective.
Okay.
I don't know if you'd agree with this or not.
Sure.
You can be heard singing on the first track, I'm feeling lower than anyone else. When everything is lower than anyone else, I'm going to see how much lower I can go. So I kind of got the impression that we're kind of wallowing in it somewhat. As I said, I did feel that some of the songwriting was a bit lazy. Again, from the first track, Will I Be This Dumb Forever? I think I can't quite remember where that is in the first track. And then the second track, there's this kind of call and answer session where it must be the lead vocalist says, it won't be this bleak forever. And it's either himself or the rest of the band, I'm not 100% sure, just say, yeah, right. And it's like...
Yeah, but that's one of my favourite bits on the album. It's like, I think the lyrics they're delivered in plain English. It's like, there's no...
It's not like listening to Nick Cave.
It's not Nick Cave, absolutely. There's no sort of interpretation of these lyrics.
There's no ambiguity, it's just straightforward.
Yeah, it's just straightforward, plain talking. And I think if you've ever felt any of the things that are described, you're going to relate to that. And there's a lot of stuff on here I don't relate to, like a lot of stuff. But there is some of the subjects that I would relate to, and I think that kind of plain talking thing that you're sort of describing as being simplistic or sort of lazy kind of songwriting, I don't think I agree with that. I think that's a plus, to be honest. I think that plain language, straight talking lyrics are a big asset, and it's part of what's enjoyable about this album is kind of just the vocals are up front and centre. For the most part what they're singing about, and you can sing along quite easily, and the choruses are massive, and I just find it a really enjoyable song for the most part anyway.
Well, like I said, there were elements of this that I did enjoy. I wouldn't throw it away completely. Like I said to you before, if this was on, if somebody put this album on and I was sitting somewhere, I wouldn't be like, get that fucking off.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And you know, I've written here, like, I felt as if the third song, Generation Loss, had a really good and kind of bouncy chorus that I enjoyed and really vibed along with. Similarly, another standout track for me is probably Beachfront Property. As you said, that was one of the singles that were released. I felt like aesthetically it was kind of very different from the previous 4 songs on the album, so I think from what I remember this is the 5th song on the album. I really enjoyed the stripped back intro with the bass, drums and kind of minimal guitar sound.
It's quite that intro is sort of quite it's quite soothing.
Yeah, and again, there's a quiet, loud dynamic going on, which is always up my street.
Yeah.
To be honest, really enjoy that. Track number 9 as well. The penultimate track on the album, Dolores.
Yep.
I think that's how you pronounce it. It's quite good as well. To be fair, I thought, and I don't know if you would agree with this as well, I've written in my notes here that given the album's lyrical content and the topics that it covers, I thought that maybe this song may have been a dedication to Dolores O'Riordan, the lead singer of the Cranberries, whom tragically passed away on the 15th of January 2018, because it kind of sounds like the details of her death and some of the lyrical content appears to match up with the events of her death. But it could just be purely coincidental. But I think it'd be quite interesting to kind of look into. It certainly depicts a kind of tragic scene, and kind of talks about. I think the song takes place in a hotel, I believe.
I'm not sure.
And there's kind of sirens and what have you going on.
I've not read anything to back that up.
No,
heard anything
neither have I. I
about
mean, I went looking for it.
Could be.
And I couldn't find anything either. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe just looking for something that isn't there, really.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe. Overall, for me, I really enjoy this album. And, okay, it's not the most unique thing you'll ever hear. You've heard a lot of stuff like this before. But I think those lyrics and the sort of impassioned delivery elevate it. And for that reason, I think it's a really good album.
What have you rated it?
I'm going to give it an 8. I think when I first heard it, I might have gone for a 7. But it has kind of assimilated into my broken soul.
Yeah. I've given it a 5 out of 10. So
Yeah.
probably not as harsh as it could have been, given the way I've kind of talked about it.
But I mean,
It's
that kind of matches up with
Forgettable. But when you say it like that, it doesn't sound that good. But it's middle of the road, I would say.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I said, if it was on, I wouldn't have turned it off. It's not as if I'd be like lifting the CD out of the CD player and chucking it out the window or smashing it to bits or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's very similar to a lot of the stuff that you would have heard before. Yeah, for me it was reminiscent of a lot of stuff from the kind of early 2000s that might have kind of been out round about the time. Yeah, I just found it a wee bit samey. But like I said, you know, I would agree there are bits in the album that are enjoyable, the choruses in particular, I would say. But yeah, that's what I felt about it.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, I think so.
On any given day, I'm a 6 of 10.